Hello there, welcome to Vlogmas, and we're doing the Christmas alphabet. So each day we're looking at a different letter of the alphabet and Christmas themed words. So if you want to guess what I'm going to do for tomorrow, the letter U, how many Christmas words can you think of beginning with the letter U? Comment under this video and then you will get points, and we're giving away a prize at the end of day 31 because we're going to the 31st of December, and I will announce the winner on day 31, December the 31st. I will say who scored the most points. You may see in the title I've put day 20 and exclamation mark. I was so worried I would forget a day to do a day, and I'm like, yay, day 20. But as I said, I'm doing the real Vlogmas, which is every day in December, not up to Christmas. So some people will be nearly finished now if they're not doing the real Vlogmas, but I've got quite a long way to go. And what am I going to do after the alphabet's finished? Well, tune in and see. It will still be holiday themed, so look out for that. Okay, let's have a look. What are we talking about today? I'm doing two different things today. I'm talking about two different words. The first word beginning with T, a lot of people guess turkey. It's not turkey. The first word I'm going to talk about today is tinsel. Oh, we're talking about tinsel today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of the history of tinsel. And this dates back to the 16th century when it was first used in Germany to decorate Christmas trees. Originally, it was made from thin strips of silver, which were actually hammered together. They were very thin strips, and they were much later, machines made them instead of making them by hand, which they were originally. Tinsel was designed to mimic the effect of icicles and reflect the candlelight. I actually have hologram tinsel, so it looks silver, but when the light's on, it's hologram, and you get so many different colours. Over time, the material evolved, and by the 19th century, tinsel was commonly made from a variety of other metals, and then later from plastic. And the word tinsel, well, the word tinsel is derived from the old French word étincelle, meaning spark. It is still a popular decoration, and it symbolises festivity and cheer. So that is the first thing I'm talking about today. And let's have a little interlude which may help you guess what I'm doing for the second word. Forgot to put myself back then. So the second word I'm doing, beginning with the letter T, is... The second word is tree, and we're actually talking a little bit more specifically about the Norway spruce. You can get many different types of tree, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I've got a little bit of footage to go with what I'm talking about, so you'll see pictures in a minute. Let's talk about it to start with, and then I'll add the pictures in of who I'm talking about. So the history is Prince Albert, the German consort of Queen Victoria, is the one credited with introducing the Christmas tree tradition to the UK in 1840. Although in 1800, an earlier royal, Queen Charlotte, I've got pictures of her in a minute, although in 18,000 or 1800, Let's start again. Though in 1800, an earlier royal, Queen Charlotte, Prince Philip, no, Prince Albert's wife's grandmother, bought a tree inside at Christmas time and decorated it with lights and sweets. As a child, Charlotte's family always decorated single yew branches and laid presents underneath. When she married King George III in 1761, this was the custom she brought with her to England. So here's a little bit of that. Okay, so talking about the history, and as I say, particularly I'm going to now talk about the Norway spruce. Edible ornaments on trees began popular, with many referring to them as sugar trees. And the history is, in 1510, the first written record of a decorated Christmas tree comes from Latvia. Men of the local merchants' guild decorated a tree with artificial roses, danced around it in the marketplace, and then set fire to it. The rose was used for many years as was considered to be the symbol for the Virgin Mary. In 1530, there is a record in France, which was then German territory, that trees were sold in the marketplace and brought home and set up undecorated. Laws limited the size to 8 shoe lengths, which is slightly over 4 foot. 1600. By the 17th century, it was common in Germany to decorate Christmas trees with apples. This practice carried them from the 14th and 15th century, when evergreens hung with apples. They were the only thing used in the miracle plays as props that was performed at churches on December the 24th. December the 24th was Adam and Eve's Day in the early Christian calendar, with plays being a way to teach the Bible to the big illiterate population, hence the apples, I guess. 1700. In parts of Austria and Germany, evergreen tips were hung upside down from the ceiling. They were decorated with apples, gilded nuts, and red paper strips. Lighted candles as decorations on the trees came from France in the 18th century. 1800s. The Christmas tree was introduced in the US by German settlers. It grew from a tabletop size to full-size trees. 1851. Trees began to be sold commercially in the US, taken from random forests. 1853. Franklin Pierce is credited with bringing the first tree to the White House. Late 1800s. The first glass ornaments were introduced to the US, again from Germany. The first ones were balls, but later chains of balls toys and figures became more common. Around 1883, Sears, Roebuck and Company began offering the first artificial Christmas trees. 33 limbs for 50 cents and 55 limbs for $1. 1900. Due to over-harvesting, the natural supply of evergreens began to declimated. Conservatists and magazines began to encourage people to substitute the artificial snow-covered tree, consisting of a branch of a deciduous tree wrapped in cotton. 1901. The first Christmas tree farm was started in 1901 when W.V. McGallard planted 25,000 Norway spruce on his farm in New Jersey. Also in 1901, Theodore Roosevelt tried to stop the practice of having Christmas trees out of concern about the destruction of forest. His two sons didn't agree and enlisted the help of conservationist Gifford Pinchot to persuade the president that, done properly, the practice was not harmful to forest. 1930s. President Franklin D. Roosevelt started a Christmas tree farm on his estate in Hyde Park, New York. 1966. The National Christmas Tree Association began its time-honoured tradition of having the Grand Champion grower present the Christmas tree to the First Lady for display in the Blue Room of the White House. That year, Howard Pierce of Black River Falls presented a tree to President Lyndon Johnson and the First Lady, Lady Bird Johnson. Today, more than 25 to 30 million real Christmas trees are sold in the US. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I will be back tomorrow with the letter U. Don't forget to comment below what you think I will be talking about for the letter U. And if you can think of several words, put them all down. What will I be talking about for the letter U for Christmas? Until then, as always, Meraki.